I was conceived my mom was 11 years old when I was conceived. Um, she gave birth to me when she was 12. Um, my father was 21, and that was not an easy story to share. I called my mom, I called my brothers, my 2 brothers, and I talked to them and I asked for their permission to share this story. Growing up in the deep South, you just don't air your dirty laundry, right? And it was never a thought to share, right? And I shared it before I ever had the idea that I would be running for office. I've always, I was on the board of a pregnancy crisis center. They didn't know why I was so adamant about protecting life. I just was. But when I got my brothers and my mom's permission to share the story, I just felt like if there was anything I could do, if I had the ability to save one life, why would I not if my story had that kind of power to get someone to think differently about this topic of abortion, then why would I not share it? And it was the hardest. And at that time, I was writing for Fox News Online. And so I called my editor and I asked if I could write this story. And she was like, yes. And as I was writing the story, let me tell you, like, I did not know. For some reason, I had all of this shame that kind of flooded me. I was wearing the shame that should be on the person who inflicted the wrong, right? But it reminded me at that moment of women who are hurt and they carry the shame of the person who committed the wrong against them, right? Dealing with that, telling my story has healed a lot of brokenness in me, and bringing my mom along to share that story has healed. Because as you can imagine, being so young and broken in such a way, and the pathology that your life is now set the course. My mother has endured a lot of pain, but I'm grateful to have the opportunity to share my story. And so I do. I don't lead with it. It wasn't a leading piece of my campaign. In fact, I never brought it up unless someone else asked me the question about my stance on pro life. And sometimes I would share that as my stance, but sometimes I wouldn't. But most times I did, but I never led with it.
Yeah.
I understand I could not imagine someone breaking my baby girl's body like that and having to come face to face with this. So no judgment. And yet I'm here. I'm alive. And I get to my husband. It's amazing. And the life we've created, I'm so grateful for. And my babies wouldn't be here. And I'm so grateful for them. And I believe our world is going to be a better place because they're here.
If not for the choice of your mother at age 11,
And it really wasn't my
12,
mom, she was 11, but it was my grandparents that came alongside
and
and they
they
saw value. They saw value in my life. They saw and I'm grateful. And like I said, I grew up feeling loved
can I ask,
as a child.
did she know the 21-year-old?
Yeah. Yeah, the
But it was
families are
not
very close.
but it was not consensual?
I mean, she's 11. I don't know.
That's what I'm but my point is, and I was talking about this earlier with another personal experience, and as a parent, what you would want to do to someone who hurt your baby. And so
Yeah.
for your parents, your grandparents, her parents,
And
to
my father's side of the parent and my father's side
oh,
of the family are like I grew up in a very small one stop sign town kind of community.
everyone knew each other as
And they have been just as much a part of my life My father's side of the family, I mean, huge. I love them. They are significant parts
That's
of our life.
incredible.
Even my dad. I mean, the story, we try to judge and make judgments on people. I love my dad. I didn't always love him, hated him. And yet I'm so grateful. Just the story of redemption,
Yes.
as crazy as it is, we live in a culture where we're told we have to be angry, right? There's
I think when there's pain inflicted on a child, that's where people draw a line. And then, uh, but you are proof, your family is proof that not every situation is the same. And
it's
I'm
not.
just giving so much credit and love to your grandparents for
And
seeing
my mom,
beyond
yeah.
the hurt and anger
Mhm.
with a little girl and to see the value of your life. And so, again, when people from a distance judge pro-life, "Oh, you don't care about a woman's choice."
Yeah, you're hateful, you're
Okay,
evil.
no,
Uh,
listen to your story, listen to
yeah,
your why, because your why matters as
it
much as
does.
everyone else's, and that's why when you talk about judging, we don't know someone's why.
We don't know the story or the journey,
Our why and our opinions are based on what? Our
our
experiences, and if we
experiences.
leave it at that, then the judgment goes away, but people aren't willing to do that, and I just am so, in awe of not just, and it's not a just, but what your mother, your entire family experienced, but your strength to choose to share it, because that's, I believe one of the reasons I wanted to do this show and not be so boxed in my career anymore is to
Yeah.
have conversations with people, because that's when we learn. That's when we realize that every single person has a story, has something. And so if we are vulnerable about it, then good things can happen.
It's
Now you're
scary.
making
She's crying. Listen, it
but your
is,
strength is
but we
amazing.
have to. If we're going to
Kleenex
save,
stash behind the couch.
if we stand a chance of saving this amazing country,
Yes.
good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
This country, I'm so grateful to be an American.
Yeah.
I love my country. I consciously made a decision that if I was called upon when I was in the military to lay my life down, I would have. And I remember making coming
To
to
think
that
about that. Yeah.
decision,
Yeah.
right? As a young person. But it is just so heartbreaking how we judge, how we put people in boxes. We stamp a label on them, and then they're supposed to walk around for the rest of their lives with this scarlet letter on their chest, and you don't even get to know. And it is not making us better as a country to do that. We're actually worse off. What people are dealing with, we all have a journey, and we all have to stop long enough to just say, let me just hear your story. Or maybe I don't have time for your whole story, girl, but let me just say, I
Right.
see you. I appreciate how you're showing up today. Right. And you have done an amazing job with this podcast and
Thank
doing
you.
that. We were behind stage and I was telling you one of those such shows. I just had to hit the pause button, collect myself, because it was so honest, so fast.
We went there
I'm
quick.
always
Yeah.
looking for honesty, but it was so honest, so fast.
You did the same thing today.
I
It
did.
was
I
right.
sat. It's something about this chair.
I'm gonna keep the chair then.
I sat down and just started.
But I'm honored that you would, that you trusted me, that my Bialik trusted me. That's the show that we were talking about prior. That so many people have trusted me so far because it's selfishly, it's helping me too. It is, and just to and just I love people. I love hearing people's stories
Yeah.
because they're all going to be a little different from mine, and that's the beauty of it. And